Welcome to Country Kickback, where you'll hear the latest music from performers you already know and discover new music and artists from around the world. If you have an artist you'd like us to chat with, reach out to the team at countrykickback.com, or you can watch our live videos and more by following us on social media and YouTube. Here is your host, Danny Shaw, with the latest from Country Kickback.
Hello, everybody. It's been another big week. What have you guys been up to? Have you had any live shows that you got to on the weekend or seen any live things? There's been so much on lately. We haven't stopped at Country Kickback. It's been great. I reckon a few of you were probably up at the Lighthouse Festival. How did it go? And did you have any favourite acts or favourite memories from the event? We've got Nathan May joining us tonight to have a chat about his new song, and we might have a chat to him about what the year holds in store. So if you've got any comments or any questions, pop them in there and we'll try and get to them all. I know sometimes we miss them, but I do try and get through them all. So just pop it up again if I have missed it. Well, we might welcome Nathan into the room. Hello. Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Oh, good. First time. How nervous were you? We're scary over here at Country Kickback.
Oh, yeah. So I was just making sure the technical stuff was going to actually make sense.
We put a lot of faith into the Australian internet, and that is a worry.
Yeah, and technology. That's why I just have my acoustic guitar and when I go and perform, because I don't have to worry about anything stuffing up.
Yeah. But how good is it though? Because I love acoustic guitar live. You can't beat it. It's just so good.
And I think that's where I try and produce my best is with the acoustic guitar and with singing. So
yes. Hang on, we've got Ryan has just popped in. Let me just get up. Ryan popped. I forgot to tell you, people can ask questions and pop them in the comments as we go. I didn't tell you that before. So Ryan has just said, Hi from Ryan Webb in Australia. Hi, Ryan. How's your week been? Have you seen any live music in the last couple of weeks, Ryan? I don't know where to start. I've had so much on, how good is that to be able to say? But yeah, so people can comment and ask questions as we go. So.
Yeah, ask away. I'm always keen to answer questions.
I know that it's as we always say, it's your first time on the show, so I hope you don't mind. And if we like to sort of go back a bit from the single or the album that we're talking about, and just hear a little bit about you and your music story, being that how it began, what made you go down, especially the country music path and that sort of thing. Because I was reading your press release and I saw there was a comment in there on Barack Obama and how you met him, and that was a really lovely thing for him to say to you. So tell us a little bit about that. Was that what made you come into this industry?
Yeah, well, I'll start where I always probably start, and with kind of going back and looking at like my childhood and kind of upbringing, because I was actually I was brought up in a church up in Darwin, in Palmerston, and I was brought up in a Christian church with this Christian family who were in the church band. So that's where
music.
So that's where the music kind of fell into place. And my uncle taught me how to play the drums at a young age. So I was 3 years old when I started playing drums, and I just loved playing the drums, and probably wasn't the best instrument to start up on.
It's a little bit different.
Yeah, and everybody didn't really. It was a kind of showcase when you get family and friends over, and then it never came out again. The drum kit. It was like, keep it in the corner for too loud. But look at my talented son and my talented nephew.
Now we'll put them away. Yeah.
That's where it all kind of first started. And growing up in Palmerston and Darwin, I went to school in Palmerston, like all the way up from primary school to high school, and I went through high school, and at that young age, I kind of was doing some silly stuff, and I wasn't too focused on school.
It's almost we go to school too young, don't we? Because we're not ready to focus at that point.
Yeah, and I guess I had a lot of friends as well that like to get out and about and do silly things as well. So I followed along at some stage there, and then I kind of snapped out of it, going into year 11, and I wasn't even that focused on school that I did going into year 11. I couldn't read, and wasn't very good at writing. And then year 12 came along, and I passed with flying colours, thankfully.
Wow.
And I progressed and learned how to do that. And there's a program in my school called the Clontarf Foundation, which is an Aboriginal football program, and they helped me. And I had a mentor and a ex-AFL player, Michael McLean, and another mentor, Igor Vallejo, who really pushed me to my limits, and graduated year 12 and got an award for the most improved and academic Aboriginal student in my school, Palmerston Senior College back then it was called. And and then they invited us to go and watch the President of the United States, President Obama, talk, and I had a really awesome teacher who really helped me strive with my education as well, Judith O'Hearn, and her previous last name was Green, Judith Green. If you look her up on Google, you might be able to see her. She was a Paralympian gold medalist for swimming.
So she was very driven. A very driven.
Yeah, she's played a big part in my schooling and why I really passed and how I got through my schooling, and if it wasn't for those people around me. But she was also at the event, and she got us right up to where Obama was, because everybody would moved out the way when she came through with a wheelchair, and that was a pivotal part in how we met him.
What happened?
And I just started singing out Barack, and he came over to us. There was a few other school kids behind me, and because I was kind of leading us with Judith, my teacher, in the wheelchair, and we got there, and he came up and greeted us, and he asked me a few questions, where I went to school, and what year I was in, and he said what I wanted to do after, and I had no idea. Julia Gillard was standing right next to me. I didn't even realise that was her. I was more focused on him.
I would have been too.
And that's where he said that, you can do and be whatever you want to be after year 12. So I just decided to, as a 17-year-old, to move to Adelaide and pursue music. And
you moved at 17?
Yeah, and then 17, and then by the time I got down here in 5 months or so, 4 months, I turned 18. So for a young fellow who grew up in Darwin, and my hometown was Palmerston, where I knew everybody I walked past in the shopping centre.
You were very safe. Yeah,
and and being a bigger city with a lot of people, and being a fellow with coloured skin as well, and an Aboriginal person, it was a really big eye opener. To come down to Adelaide. So,
are you glad that you did?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm definitely, because I wouldn't have stayed doing music. A lot of my friends are proud back at home, and they always write to me, and every time I go up to Darwin, I see them, and they're like, oh, it's and these are friends that have been in and out in jail, and who haven't really been able to do and chase their dreams, and been able to get out of that circle. So I'm very glad that I got out of there, out of Darwin, and even though that's where my heart and soul lies, and where I grew up, and a lot of my family and friends are there, but I'm very grateful that I got to get out and get so much support down in Adelaide, and also throughout the country. So,
was there a reason that you chose Adelaide as the place to go first up?
I had my uncle down here, and I have a lot of family in South Australia.
So that was the initial thinking behind it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know. There's a lot of Darwin people come down to Adelaide. I think it might be the direct
straight out, yeah.
straight line, and even a lot of people say back in the day, because my grandmother was born in South Australia, and she ended up moving to Darwin, so that's how. And then she met my grandfather, who was born in South Australia as well. Only because of the bombing of Darwin, they had to evacuate. So he was evacuated. His mum was pregnant while I was down here, and he was born in a place called Balaclava in South Australia, and they both met up in Darwin and ended up having my mum and my uncle. So,
isn't it? It's amazing how small Australia is when you think of it like that.
Yeah, and so, and all my Aboriginal heritage and my cultural surroundings are based here in South Australia, up at a place called Lake Eyre, which is traditional name is Thunder. So yeah, I feel really at home being in South Australia, because I think, you know, this is where I kind of feel like this is my home in my heart, you know, especially when I go back up to my country. So.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the really beautiful thing about where you are, is if you do want to go back to visit, it's just getting in the car and driving. It's a long drive, but at least, you know, you can do that, and you're not restricted. You know, you don't have to get on a plane, you don't have to. There's ways that you can get back there and
And I like plenty of family, so I guess that's one of the big reasons I came to Adelaide, because there's a lot of family established here in Adelaide. So it was kind of the next biggest city to come down and go to university.
Yeah, isn't that lovely? And because you've studied music at university as well. You have had you've got so many awards, and you've studied music. You've gone from struggling to read and write to excelling. It's incredible to see. You must be really proud of how it's gone.
Yeah, well, I think it's all about the journey, and like you know, it's about 12 years coming on to being here in South Australia, and and the people that supported me and the people that drive me as well. You know, I've had a lot of friends in music, and I met through music here in South Australia, and you know, they always push me, and I've had a lot of great mentors who, you know, I still reach out to, and I think that's kind of where the push and the drive always happens, and that's why you know, the awards and all that, and they're all just a big like sign, and you know, an award that says, oh, look how many people helped you achieve this, you know?
I think that's so important too, because we always talk about that, you know, it is a whole team. Anything like this, especially in this industry, it's a team of people, whether it be a person that you've co-wrote with, be somebody that you're recording with, someone, you know, there's such a huge amount of people behind the success of an artist. And I think especially here in Australia, we're very good at recognizing that you can't do these things on your own. It does take that team to pull together, and I love that we are like that as well. Now, do you, before we go on to the single, do you think that all of that history and things, do you think that helps you with your writing and ideas, and helps you as you tell your stories and write, that sort of thing?
I think like just hearing my personal stories and family stories, I think a really big contributor to the songs that come out.
Especially your current single.
especially this single that we put out, and even like all the other songs, they're all the stories about me, and about my family journey, and you know, just issues and breaking down things, and trying to get it to so everybody can relate to the stories as well.
but also letting the story tell itself, but people understanding and hearing it. Now, I know you're sitting there with your guitar. Would you like to play the song before we go in talking about it?
We
can do that. What I'll do is I'll give you the room while you're playing, and I'll come back in when you're finished. So that way you won't have feedback from my mic.
No worries. No worries. Well, here's a song that's got to start somewhere. Hopefully you can hear the guitar. You give me many things, but you can't replace the things you lost and the things you take. We need an uppity attitude. But you help me and I help you, 'cause it's gotta start somewhere. Great grandfather worked on the railway line, woke grandmother up from her dream time. New generation shining through. There's nothing in the world that love can't do. As good as it was, no, we can't go back. Everybody riding on this one-way track. Laws and cultures, old and new. It gets dark in the tunnel, but we're gonna break through. 'Cause it's gotta start somewhere. It's gotta start somewhere. We lost a lot of things, but not the truth. So get on board, there's no excuse. We're all so busy in this crazy life, but it don't take much to make things right. 'Cause we gotta start somewhere. If we all live the way we should, respect each other, intentions good, learn to live without the shame, forgiveness now without the blame. 'Cause we gotta start somewhere. We gotta start somewhere. Won't let the country lead the way. Listen to your heart, what it has to say. We need an uppity attitude. Where you help me and I help you. We're much to learn, long way to go. Together now we can grow. But it's gotta start somewhere.
Wow, I just love that song.
I hope I did it justice.
You definitely did. It sounded beautiful. I love that song. I really do. It's interesting because obviously, like, I'm always looking at new music and new things that come out, and my YouTube has kept sharing that song with me. It's like, you will like this, and I'm like, I've already heard this, but I love it. And it's just funny how it really get you. It's amazing how much it does pick up on what you want to listen to next. It just knows you, doesn't it? But
That's great.
Tell us, when did you write this song? Is it something you've been sort of sitting on for a little while?
No, it actually when I was talking to you at the start when we was first coming in, it was kind of when I first spoke to James Gillard.
Yeah.
And I met him over in Perth, and I met him playing at a concert called Broome to Bicton for this foundation, the Clontarf Foundation, and they put on a concert every year with the Pigram Brothers, and it's kind of like a fundraiser to raise funds for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander kids to go through school through this program. And I met James through this awesome gig, and he said like he was happy to play on stage, and he said I'll flick through the songs, and as he does, he just bangs through the songs and learns everything. And I was really surprised, actually. I was like, man, this guy's gun.
He is. He's incredible. For those that haven't got to meet him or see him on stage, I don't think any words can do him justice, can they? It's just incredible what he can do with anything he picks up. It's just amazing.
And just so professional. And so I still had his email from the songs that I sent, and I ended up getting some grant funding. And I said to James, I sent him an email. I said, hey, I met you over in Perth for the Broome to Bicton concert, and I'd like to see if you would like to help produce my album. And he come back within like 2 minutes, and he said, ring me. This is my number. And then we got chatting, and and the rest is history. We've been working together for the last 3 years now, coming on to 3 years. So, and he lined up a songwriting session, a couple of songwriting sessions. He said, "Oh, you need to come to Sydney, and we're going to work on a few new songs for the album, and then we'll get on to some of the other songs that you already written." So the first day was with Colin Buchanan.
Another Australian legend.
Yeah. So I was just in royalty going there. So our first day was with Colin Buchanan, and we wrote a song called "Gonna Meet That Man," which was about the president meeting the president.
Yes.
Which will be out on the album, and hasn't been released yet.
No.
And
no.
then,
are you allowed? Do you have release dates, or are we not allowed to?
No, I don't have release dates, and because I've done it in the past where I've said dates, and then people are like, so where is it? And I'm like, well, it hasn't even been finished yet. So,
we're not quite there. Yes, yeah.
So I forced myself not to do that anymore. And then the next day was with Luke O'Shea, and basically we sat down around the kitchen table, and he said, "Oh, well, tell me your story." And Colin did the same thing, and I told him about the Barack Obama story because he was so interested in that. And then Luke, I got really these wicked vibes from his song Australia Day, and with Kevin Bennett, and so
really
I just
surrounded in royalty, aren't you, with all these names?
And then so I said, "Oh, can we try and write a song like that?" And then he said, "Oh, let's hear about the story that." And I came up with this guitar line. It was kind of crusty, and and I said, "Well, I got this guitar line. Well, here's the story." And I told him the whole story, and I said about my grandmother who lost a lot of her culture and her language through her father, which was my great grandfather, who was a white man from England, who didn't allow language or culture to be around the kids. There was 13 kids.
That would have been hard.
Yeah, and so he didn't allow it in the house, and he also just never really wanted it around. So we lost a lot of that language and culture from just that. And I don't blame him for it. Like there's so many things that was going on in those days. With stolen generation. That he could. I reckon he was writing even letters to the government to make sure that these kids weren't going to be taken away. And so there's So that might have been an agreement. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. That's right. And I think that's, all you can do is do what you're doing and raise awareness and put her story out there.
So that was the kind of story, and
yeah.
And so I kind of said, well, and it's been passed down. So even when I used to ask my nana about our culture and our people, our Arabana people, she didn't really have much to say because she, wasn't around it. She grew up with her dad, who was,
yes,
this white man from England, and so Luke was just sitting there, and then he just said, "Oh, it's got to start somewhere."
Yeah.
Like,
wow.
I was like, "Whoa." So after I finished,
that just explains the magic of Luke right there, doesn't it?
Yeah. And so he just said, it's got to start somewhere. And then me, James, and Luke started penciling the song down, and it didn't take long. It was a pretty unbelievable experience to be able to just sit there and write. And so the day after that song, I wrote a song with Kevin Bennett after that. So that was like a 3-day of awesome songwriting.
That is incredible. You could not have had a better 3 days, I bet, in Sydney if you tried.
No.
Unbelievable. So is there a reason that you've chosen to release this single now? Because I always love to hear from different artists, like they might have a whole bunch of songs ready, and I always like to hear their reasoning for when they release things, and I know so much thought goes into those things. Is there
me and James was talking quite briefly about what songs we should be releasing, and shout out to Jules actually too.
Yes, Jules is amazing, and just for that, I don't know if Jules is in the room tonight, but just for that, we have been busy working on some new things. Scott has done an amazing job. So Jules, thank you so much for sending your artists through to me and always being so amazing.
So James kind of said, well, let's just pitch these songs to Jules and see what she says about it. And so we kind of, I thought it was a right time to do this song, to release it. It's got to start somewhere where, we're talking about a lot of things that are happening for Aboriginal people in the next few months, the referendum and stuff like that.
Yes.
It wasn't specifically, this song wasn't specifically for that, but I just, it was kind of just a kind of a place where it was like, oh well, all this stuff's going to be happening, and the song resonates with all different peoples, not even just Aboriginal people. I had a lot of friends ring me up. I had a friend ring me up the other day from East Timor, and said, this song resonates with me because this is what happened to my family as well.
Yes. That must feel really special, having someone do that to you and know that it means so much to you, but other people are taking so much away from it and in their own mind, and it's framing it to their situation. That must feel really special.
Yeah, and like it wasn't like really, it wasn't a driven down for Aboriginal people. No. This song's for everyone, and it doesn't matter what story you have to tell, but if it's an important story that needs to get out there, well, the conversation, it's got to start somewhere, and that's Absolutely. Where what we were driven for.
Yeah. Isn't that wonderful? And you did the film clip for this. Was the film clip your ideas and how you did it, or was that something that you did sort of in collaboration with Jeremy and different people?
Yeah, no. Eyes and Ears, creative. Jeremy's an awesome guy, and I just met him on the shoot day.
Oh wow!
So I flew over to Sydney, and me and James and James's wife Shanley Dell, another
amazing,
and another in the royal company of royalty.
Yes.
We drove up and to film the shoot, and he knew what he wanted, and I don't, when it's somebody else's
Yes.
creative art to do the visual art and stuff like
Yes.
that. I leave it up to Jeremy, and he did a great job of
Job. Yeah.
with the song and how it speaks. And
do you find that hard to let go to them and let them have that creative thing on your song? Is that something that you found difficult to do?
No, not it used to be when I was ignorant, and when I was younger, and because basically I got James to come in to help and produce the songs as well. So basically, I just had to give him all.
Yes.
All the he has all that. There's a few things I might say here and there, but to bring these songs to life, he's been doing an amazing job. And a big thank you to James, who's been mentoring me for the last 3 years, and who I've had faith in producing this album. And with this song, you can hear the way it's been produced and how high quality it is, and recording with Rod McCormack up there down there, I should say, and he's I don't know where I am at this.
And down, For me, up for you, it's probably, I don't know, across or down.
But
Central
Coast. Central Coast. We got the privilege to record there with Rod as well. So it was a bit hard at the start, letting go of that. But no, I've learned that you got to have people behind you, and you got to have a team, and you can't all do it by yourself. So
no, absolutely. And I think and I know that it would be. I assumed it would be quite difficult, especially to start with. But just having that other, you could you've created the lyrics in the song. But to have somebody else bring their ideas to that song, it's probably things that you just would never think of, and it sort of makes it magical watching it grow from the very beginning right through to the end when you're doing film clips all the way through. It would be pretty magical watching those creative people at work on something that you've done as well.
Well, in particular this song, Luke called a shot to say, well, let's talk. Because your great grandfather, white man, he worked on the railway line, and that was the big why they were there and why they moved, and it was a big part of the story anyway. So we kind of kept the railways and the train story throughout the whole song. If you hear throughout the whole song, you can hear a lot of train references and railways.
Yes.
So they do, like Luke. He brought that amazing, concept, and James brought out the music, and everybody played their part, which I was happy to.
Would have been a very enjoyable process, I imagine. So, what have you got planned? I know that you don't have you've got an album coming out, but you haven't got dates yet. What have you got planned for the rest of this year? Are you going to try and do some more shows? Are you going to do some more writing? What are you thinking for sort of this next half of that? Scary, but we're nearly at the halfway mark, aren't we? 2023. What are you sort of thinking at this stage you want to do for the rest of the year?
Well, another single will get put out midway through the year, hopefully June, July.
Yes.
I don't like to put too many dates.
Months,
all right, roughly. So depends how busy Rod is, and whether he could get in and do the mix, do the mix for me.
It's getting so hard to pen all these things in at the moment because everybody's got so much music to record and release. Finding those times.
COVID, that was a big delay for a lot of people too. Absolutely. So everybody just wants to release music.
Everyone's really ready.
So it'll be get these few couple singles out, and then see how the singles go. Like this single's doing really well. on Spotify as well, and Apple Music, and on radio as well. So I think we're just gonna see how it all goes and reevaluate at the end of the year.
Absolutely, I think
go from there. If we want to put out a few more singles at the start of next year, or just put the whole album out, we'll see when we go to that stage.
I like that, letting it unfold as it wants to, and making the most of everything as it goes along.
And I always tell James, I'm waited this long, and he always calls me. He's like, I'm sorry, you've been waiting so patiently, and and I started doing this album in 2018. So and then it's gotten from that to catching James, and then writing new songs, and then re-looking at the other songs. So it's
a big
we'll
process.
see. Yeah, and I'm no rush at all, to be honest. I'm just happy to I got a little family as well. My son, he turns 2 on Saturday, so
he's nearly at drumming age.
he's already singing a bit.
How special.
And so I guess I stay at home with my son for the 3 days of the week, and and then do the music stuff on the other days. But I'm loving it. So I'm not in no rush. I'm just taking it easy, and just see where it goes from there. But I'm really planning to get around to more places.
That is lovely. Sorry, just popping at a couple of comments as we're going through. While we're talking, Aileen said that we certainly have some songwriting geniuses in this country. Absolutely, we do.
Yes, the guys I've been mentioning, they're all geniuses in my eyes, that's for sure. And
definitely.
But I think getting out to more places, going out and getting out there to the whole country, then instead of being here in South Australia, that's kind of my goal in the next few months and with the year. And because once I put the album out, the big goal is to go and tour it, and
yes, absolutely,
and take it out. And well, like I said, I was there 3 times last year, so haven't got to Launceston yet, but
we definitely can work on that together. I'm sure we'll figure that one out, definitely. Yes, isn't it? So where's the best place if people want to sort of keep up to date with, not new music, and even just where shows might be, or where they can get tickets? Because I know we've got so many platforms that we can release all that sort of stuff on. Do you have one that is best for you to get the most up-to-date information?
Well, Instagram's where my go-to. Instagram and also like Facebook. I'm pretty frequent on that, but it's always so hard doing it all on because I try and do it all on my own. I don't have a manager, and such.
Exactly.
And there it is.
There you go. So that's got your link tree on it for you, because yes, it is a lot of work, all these different platforms.
And that, like, those platforms have certainly got my email there somewhere, or direct messages as well.
Yes,
that's where if you're wanting to know where you could even book, or even just where I'm going to be playing next. Sometimes I get too busy and I don't post a lot of gigs up as well, and because some of them are very corporate and private as well.
So people can't get tickets or go alone to those.
So like I was saying before, sometimes it's so hard. You got to book 3 months in advance just to get a spot to play at the pub, or to play at a really good venue.
Wonderful. It's wonderful that it is, but it's crazy that we have to do that as well. Ryan has just popped a comment. He said his friend has his 15th single coming out on the 12th of May, and the fans are very excited. That is very exciting. 15th single. That's a very good effort. If you have the link to the single, Ryan, pop it in the comments so that we can pre-save it.
This is my only
third single.
So he must be going all right.
Doing all right. Goodness me. I don't know how you guys, when you guys, you come up with these lovely ideas and incredible, and then you just make them come to life. But the more you do, the more you create. I don't know how you guys have such great ideas and are able to create so quickly. It's I admire it in artists. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah, I admire every artist who can constantly be creative and constantly put stuff out. It's quite amazing to see.
I guess I don't know if it's one of those things that the more you do, the more it occurs. I'm not really sure whether it's just a bit of a practice thing or what it is that I do. I watch it and think people are amazing. So with the video, you've got that up on YouTube, and if you want to have a look at that, actually, I've got the link in the top of the comments. But if you click, can you get to the video from your link tree as well?
Yep. The video is on the link tree, and the link tree is posted on my Instagram on the bio.
And is it in the top of the comments if you're looking for it as well?
Yeah, and I'll post it up on Facebook, the link tree, if anybody wants to get onto my Facebook page and follow me as well.
That'll be as your journey comes along.
It's
so lovely to hear that your dream is coming to reality. I think it's really important for people to know out there that it is possible, it is doable, and as you were saying, you just meet one person and it opens doors. In Australia, we're really lucky, so it's something that up and coming people need to take notice and see that it is doable. It's not an unreachable dream.
Yeah, and that's what I've been trying to do and tell people. It's what Barack Obama said to me, you can do and be whatever you want to be if you really put your mind to it. You can.
And he's right. He's spot on. He really is. But how special. It's one of those things where in all my years of doing the show, it's a name that you wouldn't think would come up in Australian country music, but there you go. That's how big an impact it's had.
Yeah.
But no, thank you so much for coming on the show and talking to us. I'm so sorry we've kept you for so long.
No, that's right. I just realised, I better get to dinner soon, and
and maybe more work to do. So I've kept you. But thank you so much for coming on and telling us. And there's just another comment coming through. Cannon said, "Thank you so much for telling us your story about your musical journey. I love hearing musical journeys."
Thanks for listening, actually.
Ryan just said next year he's going to see Blink 182. That would be good.
Wow, yeah, I think a couple of mates have got tickets to that as well. So
that would be special. There's so many coming. It's just incredible. I think Australia is proving to be one of the biggest countries for music. We just love it. We can't get enough of it.
It's so awesome.
Yeah. No, thank you so much for coming on. I hope you come back with your next album. It's absolutely been a pleasure talking to you. Everybody, we will be back next week with quite a few shows coming up in the next few weeks. So stay tuned. They are all out on the Facebook page and on if you want to head up, our link tree is also in the comments, and you can click on there. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel as well, because that will actually just automatically let you know when a show's posted, so you can automatically save it there and then, and even if it's in a few weeks' time, you don't have to go looking for it. It's just there. So, but thank you again, Nathan, and thank you everybody.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me, Danni, and thanks for the comments.
It's been wonderful. Yes, I will go through the comments again. We can still see the comments. If there's something that you want to ask or that we didn't get to, post it in there again, and we'll find it for you. But yes, thank you. We'll see you all in a few days. Won't be long when the next show will be on. All right. We'll see you guys later on. Bye.
Bye.